Hi everyone, and welcome to another tech discussion by Royex Technologies. With over a decade of experience in mobile app development, we are now answering and discussing key questions raised by entrepreneurs and businesses. My name is Pillay, and with me is Rajib Roy.
Hello everyone, I'm Rajib Roy. I'm running the Royex technology for last 10 years in UAE, and we have developed several mobile applications, especially the taxi application we developed for UAE and some other GCC countries. We know all the ins and out of the application, how to run the how to develop the application, how to run the business, and what is the main pain point actually of running the business, why actually people are making a mistake. We know all those kind of things. And based on all those kind of our knowledge, this episode we are going to actually talking about the taxi application.
Okay, before we jump into it, I just also want to encourage you to send any questions or comment on any questions that you might have related to mobile app development. We'll see how we can address that in future episodes. Now, for this discussion, we are going to be talking about how to create or the secrets of creating a successful taxi application. Now, this is a very exciting topic, Rajib. We've had a number of questions that came in from viewers, but also our teams have engaged with clients and put a few questions together. So we're going to jump into it and see how well we can address all of these. This is a loaded one. So as a design and development company, what are the key considerations when designing the user interface and user experience for a taxi booking application to ensure ease of use and accessibility for a variety of users and device sizes?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question actually. And whenever we are designing a mobile application, we are considering different things. So it depends also actually who are using the mobile application and which time actually and when they are going to use it. Suppose whenever we are designing a mobile application for e-commerce site and other thing, we're thinking that okay, he is actually in a home in a relaxed position, he is placing the order. But the taxi application is not like that. You are in a very hurry moment. At that time, you are actually calling a taxi. So you are just come out from the shopping mall. Outside is very hot, and you have a huge weight in your hand, one hand, and you are using the other hand actually for booking a taxi. So it needs to be very user friendly for one hand in one finger with a few tips actually, so you can actually finish the whole booking. And also different level or different types of person actually, disabled person also can use it. Some person has a eye issue, the old people, so the font size need to be bigger, and all those kind of things actually, that accessibility need to be very high. And whenever we are designing any mobile application, all those things we are actually always considering, and we are always trying actually any mobile application so that a person can do the whole process in a 3 simple click. So that's what we always try to do.
I think that's very important, and the fact that it's such an extensive process, right? To look at each different type of use case, as you mentioned. I think that's really key. So going on to the next question, could you walk us through the typical tech stack and architecture choices for building the back end of a taxi booking application?
Okay, so this is a very very high level question actually. If we are going to discuss this thing, this is going to be a big episode. I'm just talking in a very simple way. So normally whenever actually a customer comes, this kind of question they're asking, in their mind, it is always that, should I go in a native platform or hybrid platform or web platform or browser based or React? What kind of language they're going to use in the mobile application, especially in the text application? So we are thinking in a different way. So there are 2 applications. One is actually the user application, the customer, and one is the driver. Driver one need to be very solid foundation. Why? Because it is always connected with the GPS. Every time it is tracking what is going and how it is going. And the customer side, we are thinking that okay, how fast it can be react. So, and also the GPS, we are definitely we are tracking the GPS, but not always. Suppose whenever a customer is moving, we don't need to track that how the customer is moving. But the driver side, whenever the driver is moving, we have to track it. So we are developing a 2 application, not a single application. So one is for the customer, one is for the driver. Driver is very actually well built so that it can actually use the GPS, and we are not caring too much about how much of battery power it is taking and how much load it is taking. We are not taking care too much because it is already battery is there because he's in the car, right? And so the customer side, we have to take care of it actually, that okay, how much actually consumption and what is the way the side, all those things. So in that case, before we are always using the hybrid, the native application, And recently we have started using the hybrid, mainly actually the Flutter, and with the new feature of the Flutter, it's really working fine. And recently we actually delivered 3 mobile application, the taxi application in a Flutter, and that's working perfectly well.
Okay, fantastic. And I think also, as you said, with the GPS data that's in the vehicle, it's going to consume more battery.
Yes.
But they do have the ability to charge. But on the other hand as well, from a consumer perspective, you wouldn't want a lot of data usage from them, right? So they need to obviously be optimizing.
And also the privacy is actually a very big factor. Whenever you are tracking the GPS in every moment, the privacy is actually in a risk, right? But in a driver actually, this is their business. So they actually track the GPS. We can track it. Yeah, sure. So in which way they are going, we are tracking every part.
Okay, no, fantastic. Let's look at the next question here. Performance is the most critical part in such applications. I agree, it's very important. As you will be handling large user data, transactions and requests, what are some best practices for enhancing and maintaining performance within the application on the server side?
Okay, so the text application is actually is a connectivity with the server is a very high. Every few moment, every few seconds, actually the driver is connecting with the server, taking the update and updating the server also, and customer also at the same time. So at this thing, in one small city, million of our people are using the application. So if every moment, million of actually requests are going to the server, and server need to give a reply back. You need a huge server for that. So what we are doing, it is possible actually to give that kind of million of response and feedback. It's not a tough. You have to actually pay more money on the server side. But what we do actually, whenever we are developing the application, we do some kind of actually alternation on the technology side, so that we don't need to actually always be connected with the server. Whenever it is required at data, it is actually asking the server that, okay, what is the position and what is the status. But in other case, we are not actually caring too much. Yeah. So suppose the customer, whenever they are actually requesting actually the driver location, or just placing the order, at that time we only that, okay, on which location they are and while they want to go. So we are showing this thing. And whenever we are showing that, okay, in the map that, okay, where is the driver is there, we are showing not a real time, 100% real time data. Is actually around 5 to 6 seconds gap is there. But for a human being, 5 to 6 seconds in a mobile, you can't feel it. A car is moving 5 to 6 seconds delay. From your eyes, you can't see it. So what we did, whenever a driver actually is showing one position, and after 6 seconds or 10 seconds, it's going to other position, we are making an animation on the phone so that it is actually showing that, okay, it is actually moving, but not exactly, it is actually giving the data. So all kind of animation we are doing. So what happened in that case? So in user side, it is not always connected with the server. But it is showing the exact result, and people feel that, okay, it is exactly working in that way. So this is the way we actually minimizing the server call, and you can't believe that actually. So almost 1/3 actually the request we can actually reduce by using this way.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I agree that even though you are doing that in the back end, but the client themselves are feeling a sort of seamless experience as they can see the vehicle approaching. I think that's very important. Let's get on to user location tracking and real-time updates. Now it's very crucial for taxi applications, as we say. Now, how do you implement accurate location tracking while optimizing for battery usage and data consumption?
Okay, so we already answered actually few things on our previous question, right? So on here, so we are not always actually checking that, okay, customer position. Customer actually only just telling that, okay, where is their current location, nothing else. But the driver side, we are always actually checking, but there is a delay, is there 5 to 10 second delay. We are always counting, but we are showing that, okay, he is moving, but physically we are not transferring the data actually on the server side to minimize this thing. This is the one way we are doing it. But a customer side, because we are not using the GPS every moment, so his battery actually consumption is very low.
Okay.
Only one time, whenever they are saying that, okay, on which location he is, we are showing this thing. The other one that, okay, they can see that, okay, the driver is coming. That connection actually is coming from a web view. We are actually using some API connectivity so that they can see that, okay, what is the view. It is not a web socket or real-time connectivity we are not doing. So So it is not actually the consuming the huge battery or more connectivity power. It is not required anything.
Sure. Okay, no, that's fine. So another key question here: how important is the customer service in such applications? So this is really getting onto the operation side of it as well. So how big should the team be? And on the same line, does the company need an IT background to run and manage the dashboard and daily activities? I think this is a very common question in terms of understanding to what extent you need the technical and background. So what are your thoughts on this?
Look, technical background is not required actually to run the business, right? So whenever you are giving the customer support and all those things, technical experience you need actually is a very minimum requirement. Yeah, only very basic few things can be actually wrong. Suppose whenever people are trying to pay the money, it is not they are not able to do it. So that they actually place the order, but they can't see any driver. This kind of thing can be come up. But all those things actually very much standard. So whenever we are before launching the application, we do actually different road tests. At that time, we can figure it out actually what kind of situation can be possible. Yeah. So we always inform the support team. Okay, this kind of situation happened, and in this situation, this they need to do. Yeah. But we don't think actually too much actually highly technical people actually required. But definitely is very important. You have to receive all the calls. So depends on how many users you are supporting, how many customers you have. So based on that, you have to have a number of technical people.
I think as you mentioned as well, you don't need the technical background, but you're going to be reliant on a development team, right?
Yes,
so that could be in-house, or that could be elsewhere, but someone is going to
definitely, right? It is a technical app. You should have a technical team who actually always continuously supporting. And what we do whenever we are developing a text application, we just put something. So maximum time actually, whenever your app is crashing, customer are not giving a complaint to you that my app is crashed, but we need to know actually on your phone the app is crashed and why is that crashed. So we actually set some mechanism that it will automatically inform us the app is crashing or this kind of error is there. It will not go to the customer support. It directly goes to the tech team, and they are actually fixing immediately.
Got it. So I think for our viewers, in terms of having a taxi application, as long as you've got the strong support from a development team, be it in-house or be it elsewhere, they would then handle that side of the business. However, from an operational standpoint, it's key to have your right customer support teams and processes to manage the operations, right?
True.
Okay, in practicality, what is the best practice for starting off the business? Should the company start off for an entire city or for a few areas? So this is a geographical question in terms of launching.
So this depends actually on their business strategy. So what is their strategy, how they want to actually capture the market, and what is their strength? Yeah. But you have to understand in the market, in the UAE market, especially there is a Uber is there is Kareem is there. To fight with them is a huge thing. Yeah. You can't actually make a huge company and then try to fight with them. I think that is not a wise decision, and that we are not actually asking or telling the people to do that way. So it's best always to go for a niche market on small places and make sure that on that places they are actually giving us support properly, and then they are going for the other bigger area. So what happened? We saw actually a few companies actually launch here, and they try to do the whole UAE actually together. And whenever you open the application, you can't find any driver there. Yeah. So if you are looking for a driver and there is no driver, is there why people are using it? So instead of actually going for the whole country, just go for a small places, a small city or a small to solve a small purpose. Yeah. So then it will be easily successful.
Absolutely. And that's such an important point that you just raised, which is the driver side of it, right? For these types of models, you have to have a pool of drivers that are linked. So, during the creation of this business model, you need to fully understand where you're sourcing those drivers from.
Exactly.
And then to what extent you can market yourself out there to not just consumers who need to use your application,
exactly,
but to drivers as well, right?
Yes. This is the thing actually. So whenever you are doing developing a taxi application, your market is not only the customer. You have to do the market with your driver. So driver need to love your application. Then they are actually using it. And driver actually also tell the customer that okay, why you are not using this application? You will get some more benefit on here. So driver is actually one of your ambassador.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to the next one. how do you test such a platform? Is there any techniques which is different from testing a normal application?
Yeah, so first let's understand actually normally how we are testing any application. There is a security issue always be there. We are always be concerned on that thing. So from the mobile application, when the data goes to the server, there is internally we are using some API to connect our server and the application. This is the one place where actually use kind of hacking and the phishing, all those kind of things can be possible. So we tested actually thoroughly. So we have some our procedure. All the technical company has the procedure. So we are actually following that thing that are doing it. Then we are checking the application side, how heavy it is, how actually it is consuming the data. So some error actually can be happen from the developer side. So they are actually loading the same data multiple times. It can be happen, but it is not showing in the front, but in the internally it is loading, and it make the whole apps actually a busy application.
Gotcha.
So means how much processor actually is consuming. So we are checking that kind of side. So this is the normal application test. So we have to do that test actually in a text application, but we have to do a physical test. So what we do, we try to be a driver few person and try to be the customer few person, and we just use our car and do a physical test. Okay. So not only one or two, actually around 10 to 15 people actually we are doing it, and we check actually how easy it is, why it is making the issue, and how can we solve those kind of things. So that's what we are always doing.
Yeah, I think you'll never be able to test it with just one or two people, right?
Oh.
You have to have a good number of people that's using it. So that's very, very interesting. Coming on to the driver side features now. We spoke about how important the driver application is. Now this is it's as important as user features. How do you create a driver-friendly interface with real-time ride requests, navigation, and earnings tracking?
Okay, so a driver in UAE or any other country, they're not using only one application. There's a multiple application is there in any country. So they're always actually switching from one application to other application. Now, some people have a multiple mobile phone. So in one application, different application is there. How we are developing the application is we are trying to make that the same phone they can use actually multiple applications. So it will be so user friendly, even if it is run in the background. But anytime any new call comes up, it will automatically pop up, and information they can actually do the booking and all those parts. So that's we are always checking. And also think about how actually driver are doing the ordering. So they are using only one hand in one side, right? So because while they are doing the driving, at that time they have to actually accept this thing. Yeah. So we are considering that part. And so we try to use it instead of only the visual. We are just trying to actually give a voice. Suppose the customer in which location and where they actually want to go, and whenever the order, a new order is coming, actually we are actually making a sound so that he don't need to rely fully on the visually. So he can actually hear what is happening, and he can actually place the book it.
Absolutely. And now this is something I think a lot of people would not realize, which is the extent to which a driver needs to engage with their phone while driving. Obviously very dangerous, and this is why you need to be very creative so that it minimizes the amount of time they need to look away from the road. I mean, if anything, they should obviously have their standard procedures in terms of how this is managed, but from an application point of view, you can make it so much better and easier for them.
True.
Okay, let's get on to regulations and compliance. Now, this is also a common question, because whenever individuals or companies want to start up a new application or taxi application, where to first in terms of regulation? So does the application have to integrate with any local transportations like RTA?
Yeah, so the license is a different license. So it is not a normal business license. So they have to take a license different way. And also they need to integrate the API from the RTA. So how the RTA actually working? RTA is for the safety of the user. So what they are doing. Whenever actually a customer actually books a taxi, it will automatically hit the RTA. RTA knows that you are actually trying to book a taxi. And when the driver is accept the order, at that time also RTA knows that driver accept the order. And when the driver actually taking you on the way, you are on the way, also RTA knows that, okay, you are on the way. So it is not only that business purpose, RTA actually for the security purpose of the customer, they are always need to know how actually is dealing. And because there is some salik in there every road, so RTA also provide that information. If you are passing any specific road, RTA also tell us that, okay, no, you also passed a salik, you have to cut that amount from the customer, you have to add it. So these kind of features actually in there. And also for the security of the customer, so if any customer actually press some button for the security, the alert also goes to the RTA. So this kind of integration is important. Whenever we are working in other country, India and other GCC country, this kind of integration is not required there. So you just make an application, the application is run by own, no one actually checking you. But here in the Dubai, they actually check very thoroughly every bit of the operation. They check that, okay, everything is running smoothly or not.
I think this is very important for our viewers that are not based here, but obviously there's a lot of people that want to start their businesses here in the UAE. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity that can exist, but you need to consider these types of integrations, which is necessary and mandatory here. Okay, fantastic. I think we're approaching the last question here, coming on to costing. Now, I did mention earlier we want to talk about costing, so let's get into it. When starting a business such as a taxi application, what are the costs to keep in mind for the running of that application?
Okay, so first of all, the development cost is there, and development cost depends on actually what kind of feature they are looking for. So every taxi application, when they are actually developing, there is some different features in there what they can attract the customer, attract the driver, right? So based on that, the pricing depends. So the price will start around 100,000 dirham to maybe 250,000 dirham, in that range the price will come up. And also now we are working with some company, some taxi application which is coming, so we are integrating some AI feature, and then the price is actually completely different, because what kind of AI, what kind of feature also we are placing, that's actually part of it. And running is actually huge running cost, there is no doubt. So that's why I'm saying that, like, instead of going for the whole UAE or whole country, just go for a small area, try to serve that thing and try to actually get the benefit from there. So there is some driver side is there, so you have to spend the money to manage the driver, you have to spend the money to manage the customer, you have a marketing budget for those two places, you have your in-house team actually there for the customer support, then definitely you should have your own. So that actually the expenditure is there, and there is a fee you have to pay always to the RTA. So that also need to be counted. So it is not a very a low funded business. You should have a good amount of fund to do the business, but the volume or number of transactions is so high, it will be very easily profitable if they're doing it in the right way.
Yeah, I think that's important to understand, which is your initial investment in this kind of business. You need to factor in, I mean, your marketing budgets, where you need to, as we explained earlier, to drivers and to their customers as well. So I think holistically, it's something that has a lot of opportunity, but on the same side, you need to understand some of these key steps, as we call it, the key secrets to running that taxi application. I think this has been very, very insightful. Again, to the viewers, I just want to encourage you, add those comments or add your questions, and we'll see how we can address it in the future episode. Thanks for watching. Rajib, any last words?
Thank you everyone actually for watching the video. If you have any question, any technical question also regarding the taxi application, just comment us, we'll try to answer that. Thank you everyone.